So this thing, I'm not a gun person and I never want to be personally, but this is wicked. This is NBK's The King of Snipers, or King of the Snipers, or Sniper King. I've seen it named a lot of different things. And for those of you who missed the very lavish, very cringy intro, you'll find out why it's called that in a little bit. But before I get into the really cool aspect of this, the robot. It looks okay. It's pretty generic in its design. The color separation is super funky, and the colors themselves I'm not the biggest fan of. And the green one too, like they're both weird ass colors to pick from. Also, on a side note, this thing was completely fine before I started shooting that intro, and as soon as I took it out of my car, the bipod snapped off, and it's gone, like it's here, but it won't go back on. My friends still had a ton of fun with this thing, but it's destroyed. Orange cap. Going back to the colors, I get why this thing looks like this. Is to look as fake as possible, and good, because we tried to shoot that intro outside down the street and didn't want the stingy neighbor to call the authorities on us, because we all have that one neighbor. But this thing is only like 85 bucks in most places, and that's an amazing deal for what you're getting. It's a really good price. I'll leave it linked down below if you if you want to grab one for yourself. The plastic of the thing feels very cheap. You have to be careful with all the joints. They are quite tight, and the plastic doesn't feel strong enough to handle. And like I mentioned before, there's two areas. The one which is part of the handle, which was completely my fault. I wasn't being careful when bending the joint. The other was literally just the bipod just came off. I think the plastic just gave up and it snapped. So that's a little annoying as well. I really do like, though, how they use plastic parts to separate the colors as opposed to painted things. It's a really great way to do it, and it looks more realistic to me. It's because it's two separate panels on top of each other instead of a panel with some haphazardly slathered on paint, because this is NBK. They probably would just do that. The head looks like a very strange Optimus Prime head, but it's alright. It has a very good range and lights up, but mine doesn't work very well, and that's not batteries being dead, that's just the function doesn't work very well. The figure also has stability issues. The feet are quite small, and this dude is pretty tall, so in some poses getting him to stand up can be a challenge. Kind of wish he had die cast in the feet to give him more stable base, but it's not terrible. The hinges on the feet, though, are starting to stress a bit, so this will be the last time I transform it, because I don't want it breaking. The fingers are very, very expressive, and overall his articulation is nice, but we'll get into that in a little bit. He can hold all of his stuff, and he looks great with the knife especially. I love the way he holds the knife. You can also take the knife and the barrel and give him a Dreadwing style mini cannon gun looking thing. It looks really, really brutish to me, and I like that. You can also mount the scope on the back, but the connection sucks ass and it falls off a lot, so I don't normally do that. The scope just kind of sits on the side. This thing is huge, like I said, but like, it's huge. Coming in at around Combiner Wars Devastator height, it's quite large. My friends had so much fun with this thing. I'll post some videos here of them just messing with this toy. They spent about 3 hours just playing with it on the couch outside. We ended up calling it Beppis Prime because it's the same color as Pepsi. I didn't come up with the name. I was getting the pizza when they did that. What are you doing?
It's hard because his hands don't overlap. Try it. I was gonna throw gas. Try getting the one leg out of there. You can tilt this one up. Well, let's see if he'll actually grab this one. Oh, there you go. His thumb wasn't on it.
I like the shot of him just holding it in the air.
No, it's too long for him to have it.
That's what she said.
There we go.
There we go.
Pepper's Prime.
Why does it just look like he's playing with himself?
He is.
Like, that's his big schlong and his hands
If
are
you
just down there.
raise his arms up, it'll look like he's...
Articulation is great. He has a lot of areas of movement, especially in the arms. The fingers, like I said, are superposable. The head is super expressive. The legs are also really articulated, but those small feet make standing him up a bit poop. The joints do also creak quite a bit. They make a very loud squeaky noise. It's very annoying and also kind of scary. Transformation is basically just stretching him out and adding some parts to the gun mode. Yes, parts forming, boo, but I don't care that much. It's just one part and it's for stability. Getting all the panels to tab in can be a bit of a pain, and the slider sections on the front of the gun can be a bit annoying to line it all up. But once you get it all done, you're left with this. A sniper rifle. A sniper rifle. You can use it in the sweat configuration here, but I prefer it with all the attachments it comes with, the scope and the bipod if the bipod wasn't broken. And yes, this thing has rails. I don't know if they're actual rail size on guns, but he has rails. I kind of hope they make more attachments for this, because that would be really cool. Like a minicon that turns into a laser sight, or a minicon that becomes a new scope or something. That would be awesome. I'd also love to see them make more in this line, because I think that'd be pretty funny. Gotta strap on that monolithic suppressor, the Commando foregrip, and give it that tack laser for ADS speed. I'm sorry, I played too much Warzone. It's not comfortable to hold or to dock on your shoulder. The stock is too small, but that's because I'm 6'3" and I have a long arm, so it's a bit short for me. Plus the grip being so close to the trigger, I find weird. I naturally hold it further out, but again, that's just because I'm lanky and tall. My figure's trigger also doesn't reset itself, which is a bit of a pain. It feels like there's supposed to be a spring in there to like pop it back into place, but it just doesn't. It might just be because the firing mechanism is so stiff, and this is made by a knockoff company, so it's not the best quality in the world. He does have a bipod, like I said, and you can lie down prone and pretend to snipe your toys from across the hallway with it if it wasn't broken, but mine is broken, so unfortunately I can't use it. And the scope kind of works. I can see out of it, and it's telescopic. I just wish it was more telescopic. I do like all the decal labeling on this dude. It makes it feel a bit more grounded, even though it looks ridiculous in these colors. Now, the coolest thing this does, the coolest thing, I wasn't expecting it to actually work well, is that it fires. Now, I have seen some people with this say it doesn't shoot well. Mine seems to shoot fine, but that some people shoot like a mouse coughing, just That's all it does. But let's get through that. So you open the side panel and load one of the many bullets into it. Close it up till it clicks shut. Sometimes you have to pull the little gray piece back to shut it. Then you fucking pull the bolt. Yes, the bolt. Till it clicks. It does take some effort. This is a bolt action sniper. And then you point and shoot and it fucking fires. I apologize for the swearing, but I just have to put across how... What? The trigger on mine, like I said, you have to manually reset to the center before trying again. Otherwise, the bolt doesn't work, but it fires. And out of 5 shots, 4 out of 5 times, it fires consistently. That's nuts if you ask me for something like this. I so want to mount this on my wall, like above my closet door, because of how ridiculous that looks. Oh, and the best part, like I said, this whole thing is only 85 bucks. That's a lot for 85. And it's an original idea, not infringing on any existing IP other than maybe Optimus Prime's head design, sort of. But it's really neat. For people who are both for or against third party, this isn't really a third party product because it's its own original design. So you could definitely pick this up. Now, if this does get retooled into Voss from IDW, that would be killer. Literally. I would totally not go waving this around on the street though. We shot this at the end of a no-through road and then just ended up coming to my house anyways to shoot the whole thing. And yeah, I just wouldn't take this out into a public place. We felt very awkward, and that's why we came to my house. It's really cool. If you're careful with the slightly janky plastic, then I'd say for 85 bucks, it's definitely a pickup. I love this thing. I think it's hilarious. Even my mom thinks it's great. But that's been my look at NBK's King of the Sniper. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.